Alright, so I'm going to be going over the four different layouts, which are the linear layout, the relative layout, the frame layout, and the table layout. I'm going to try to explain these as simplistic as possible so you can understand them. But if you have any more questions, feel free to email me or find me in school, or any means of contacting me works. But we're going to start with the linear layout. And the linear layout is a view group that aligns all its children in a single direction, either vertically or horizontally. Mainly you use a linear layout when you want widgets arranged in a single column or row. And all of the linear layout children are like stacked one after the other, so a vertical list will only have one child per row. So like these two buttons, they're both children of the linear layout. They're both stacked on top of each other. But when I have a sublinear layout, that's what I'm going to call it because I really don't have like a technical name for it. So when I have a sublinear layout and put a button, image view, or anything in it, basically that's a widget, these will be set horizontally. Also, the linear layout supports assigning weight to individual children using the Android layout weight attribute. And what the layout weight attribute does is it assigns basically an importance to that widget and gives it priority over the others and assigns the amount of space based on priority. So if I went to this button and put Android layout underscore weight and put 1, now you can see because I put a higher priority than these, because these are all set to a default of 0, since this has a higher priority, these are only going to get the necessary space required, and that rest of the space is going to go to this button because it has a higher importance than the rest. That's basically everything important to know about a linear layout, so we're going to go next to the relative layout. And okay, so a relative layout is a view group that displays child views in relative positions. The position of each view can be specified as relative to sibling elements, such as like left or below another view. So what that means is like this button is aligned right to ID of hello, which is the text view. So this button is aligned right to this text view. So if I create another button and I told Android to lay it out below hello, then that button's automatically going to be set below it, because relative layout, it positions all the widgets relative to the parent or another widget, depending on how you define it. And relative layout is a very powerful utility for designing a user interface because it can eliminate nested view groups such as this sublinear layout, and doing that, it keeps your layout very simplistic, and which improves performance overall. That's basically the overview of relative layout. Therefore, we will be going to frame layout. And frame layout is designed to block out an area on the screen to display a single item. Generally, frame layout should be used to hold a single child view because it's difficult to organize child views in a way that's scalable to different sizes without children overlapping each other. For example, if I had a image that took up half the screen and had another image take up the other half, and let's say we try to load this application on a tablet and for some reason the scaling went wrong, that whichever image is on top is going to overlap and just take up the whole screen, and you will not see the other image. So views are stacked on top of each other. So basically what the frame layout is for is to make one view available at a given instance. But however, you can use the layout gravity to position different widgets or views on the screen. That's how you position them, is using the layout gravity. So again, the frame layout is basically designed to block out an area of the screen and is more for one view at a time. And finally, we have the table layout, and the table layout, as suggested, it's a table, as in a table you would draw in math, that kind of table. So it's a view group that displays child views in rows and columns. The containers, so what contains these, their borders will not be displayed, as you can see. Like, here's the whole border, you can see as the dotted lines, but when you're not hovering over them, you will not see them. So you will not see the borders of the rows or the columns. So a table will have as many columns as the row with the most cells. You can leave cells empty, and also cells can span multiple columns, but cells cannot span multiple rows. So if I had like 3 columns here, I could have this cell span the width of 2, but I can't have it span the width of 2 rows. I can have it span the width of 2 columns, but not 2 rows. And table row is a child of table layout. So you use table row to create a new row. So I'll just create a quick text view and just say hello. So it creates a new row with hello, and that's it. So what table layout is, I would think, would be used for, in my opinion, would be more for menus in an app, and not really have any importance otherwise, unless you were having some type of a menu, such as maybe settings, or just maybe you have a menu in your app or something. But that's basically the 4 different layouts summed up real quick. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. And yeah, that's about it.